Hey guys, what's up? It's Adam with BDU, here today with my buddy Dave from Maxim Defense. We're here today to talk about their company, who they are, what they do, and these rad little Johnnies right here. So Dave, give us a little background on who you are, where you came from, and then also Maxim as well.
Right. So Maxim started in 2013. I head up the sales and marketing side. And basically the company was founded under the mission and vision to put together technologies that really are, geared towards Tier 1 military and our first responders. One of the things that we got into and realized early on is that the brace and stock market, there was really a lacking of duty built that was short and collapsible. So we started there, and that really became the genesis of the organization, coming up with a number of different lines of stocks and braces that fit pretty much any standard AR platform, AR-10 platform that's out there.
Yeah, no need to run like proprietary lowers or uppers.
Correct.
Be able to slap it on and go.
Very vanilla. We wanted to be able to outfit the military with what was going on. Now during that process, obviously on the commercial side, there's a great commercial side of the business. So working with great companies like yourselves, we're able to offer the products that we're pushing into the military and LE side and government side to help fuel the R&D that we're putting into the technologies which you see here. The PDX, as you mentioned, this is we launched this in January. It's really our first of a long history of thinking about how could we, create something that was unique to the marketplace. So, being that we have very small and very short stocks and braces, what we did is put a lot of energy and development into the tail. From there, the stock and brace portion of it is just as important as the rest of the function of the system. So when developing this, we actually, in 2018, it might have been 2017, SOCOM submitted, they dropped a submission for a sub 15 inch 9 mil little platform.
Yeah, they're PDW.
PDW, right. So we submitted, we created one, submitted for it. We weren't chosen to move forward, unfortunately, but that really became the birth of the PDX that we know it today. So right after that that submission, we had a few inquiries about, do you think you could come out with some different calibers that would be, a little bit more effective than what a 9 mil would be?
Yeah.
So one of the comments was, if there was casings that were left on the ground, maybe somebody wouldn't know where we came from. So we're like, okay, that's got to be a 7.62 by 39.
Yep.
So we focused our attention on the 5.56 and the 7.62 39. And tried to get as small as possible. So we came up with 18.75 inches in collapse length for that AR platform.
Which is incredibly tiny. I mean, you have to remember most uppers nowadays are about the length of this up. Like short uppers are about the length of this entire rifle.
Right. Yeah.
And having shot these, they're super pleasant. They're not as awful as you think a 5.5 inch barreled 7.62 39 would be.
Right.
And the 5.56 is just as pleasant. Some of the more interesting things, and I'd like to talk about, is like the hate brake, why you sank it into the rail, and then the overall upper profile.
Sure.
Those are super important.
Yeah, and so the tail, and then we move up to the front. So getting a firearm to cycle and to get it to cycle reliably, that's where we really focused around what we call the hate brake. As Adam, you were mentioning, it's pleasant to shoot because the hate brake is a linear compensator muzzle booster. So just to kind of break that down a little bit, what we're doing is we're taking all the hate from a 5.5 inch barrel in the PDX and we're projecting it away from the shooter.
Yep.
So we can be at the 45s and you're not rattling my teeth or burning my eyebrows because of the flash. It's a two-piece design. Inside of there's a chamber which helps build back pressure.
Yep, which is going to help in actual dwell time and cycling of the
Correct.
system.
Yep, and also burns up a little powder, so it helps reduce the flash. And then being that it's muzzle boosting in front, it helps with some of that linear compensation for it. By doing that, we push the gas back through the system and get into more reliable cycling. To stick it underneath and to push the hate brake in, realistically is a form of design. One of the things I think you'll see with Maxim product is we put a lot of thought and effort, not only just into the way that the system works, but also we think that we want to make sure that the systems look really cool.
Yeah, it's one of the few companies where function and form kind of walk hand in hand.
Yeah.
Every little detail from the wrench flats on the hate brake, to the contours of the upper receiver, to the serrated front of the mag well. Like, everything there's for a reason,
Yes.
but it's also visually appealing,
Yeah.
which is super rare nowadays, where most people are trying to go more utilitarian as opposed to trying to make it a little more fancy with great parts. You've obviously partnered with a bunch of great companies, Radian, Reptilia, I'm sure these are ALGs.
Yep.
Yeah, so unbelievably high quality parts and great manufacturers.
Yep. All billet manufactured. You know, as you were talking about some small details, just a couple things to point out. The hate brake, being that it's a two-piece design, this is actually, you can time it to fit underneath your housing, and then that's a 3/8" ratchet drive at the end to take it off. And the same thing with the buffer tube, it's a 3/8" ratchet. So we tried to limit even the armorer's tools to basically, if you're in a Humvee and you're out in the field and you need to service this, you don't realistically need to have those tools with you.
Yeah.
Everything that's in a Humvee kit can be used to help service this weapon.
Yeah, that was probably the coolest thing I noticed, was how to take the hate brake off, was just put an extension in on a ratchet, break it free. So that was super neat. One thing I want to circle back around to is the overall upper profile. I know you and I have talked about, it has a lot of similarities into the 416, which, if you aren't familiar with the 416 or the MR556, do a little research, Google who's your friend. They're an amazing rifle system. And why was that chosen? What are the benefits of it, other than me thinking it's a more rigid receiver because it's taller, there's a little more mass in certain places that are going to take the actual beating that the system's going to give it.
Right. And I think you hit on a big thing, is rigidity, right? So we wanted and we needed a system that is, one, duty built and it's able to take the beating, but also it has applications across domestic, so U.S. as well as international. So HK's big globally. So a lot of accessories and things that we would find in international markets going to be able to be compatible with the PDX. Going back to that rigidity and adding that stiffness really helps with, as we get into full auto, making sure that we're getting tighter groupings, and it really helps you keep the system a little bit more controllable from shot to shot. And also, we feel that it plays into the fact of, it doesn't give you a tremendous, with the SCW stock and the way that the hate brake and the weight of the gun really makes it a very pleasant shoot. So it's not really wild and you're blowing all over the place in your hands when you're shooting it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email, and check us out at Big Daddy Unlimited.